Here we go. So, as I was saying before, for everybody that was there, I'm going to start with this analysis here, and then I'm going to just take whatever questions you guys have. So let's take a look and start with the QQQ. And what I like to do is identify trends with my analysis, and I like to trade in the direction of my trend. And one way I like to do that is I start and I go out to the weekly chart. So this is the QQQ. We're on a weekly chart right now. And I like to kind of see what's going on. And just from the overall picture, I can see that, since down here, since September, we have really been moving up, right? We're in a nice uptrend to the upside. Okay, so you can see that pretty straightforward, pretty obvious. So when I see that, I'm like, okay, we're moving up. I also have a 10 EMA right there, and I use that. Actually, that's a 5. I got to change that. I use that to help me keep direction as well. So, okay, so let's change the settings on this. We're going to change that to 10. All right. So you can see right now we got the moving average. It's up above the moving average. And so the direction's up. So I'm looking for buy trades, right? And then what I like to also do from there is understand key levels, right? It's very important for me to have my key levels. So right here, we're going to go and we're going to add some levels right here. So let's do that. Let's add some levels because price will bounce off of these levels and it makes for great trades. So right here is one where we had a really nice move to the upside. And you can see that it was right there, right? We had it's paused, moved up, and then we had that big, huge, powerful candle. Whenever you see a level, you want to try to find a big, huge, powerful candle. And I'm moving this out here because you can see that it also coincided with this all the way over here in November of 21, where it stalled out and it couldn't make a new high. Well, then we made a new high. And then we went up for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Then we came down for a couple weeks, and now we hit the bottom right here. Okay, so when this happened, I was actually waiting for this because I knew that it was there, right? And that's what we want to do with our levels. We want to identify them because price will move from level to level. So right now, you can see we're right in the middle. We're right in the middle of the level. And so I'm going to draw another one here. And this one was right here. Okay. So we have one right here at 414. So at this point, I prefer to take a trade right down here at the bottom of the level. And I drop down to a daily. And let's see if we even drop down to a lower time frame here. Let's drop down to an hourly. You can see that the price responded pretty well. It bounced a couple times, tried to break out right here, couldn't make the move, couldn't break, and went back down one time, and then we had a really nice bounce from here. And that particular move, that particular bounce has gone up from 395 all the way up to 405. So, that's like about a $10 move. And today we're moving on up. And so at this point, I'm always looking for uptrends in the middle of looking for pullbacks in the middle of an uptrend, right? That's what I look for, and that's how I like to trade. So let's go and let's go back to the daily time frame. Now that we have a clear idea of where we want to go, we're going to go back to the daily. And so right now I'm really looking for price to get back up to here. If it doesn't, if it fails, if price comes back down here and we get a reversal, and then it comes back and then comes down through this level. This is a very important level here, especially because we tested this. So if this fails, well, then I'm going to be changing my mind here about the trade. And I'm going to be looking for downtrends. And especially because if we'll draw a trend line in here, and you're going to see that, we broke that trend line. And now if it breaks here, we're going to be headed even lower. So right now we're in the middle of the range. I'm looking for it to come up to 412. If it breaks, we're looking for it to go higher. And if it rolls over, we're looking to sell the market, and we probably get some extended downside. Now, if we are going for more downside, if it breaks below, then it's a good idea to have a couple levels drawn to say, well, where do we think it's going to go? So, you just look at different previous highs. Like right here was a previous high, and you can see that there was a candle here that reacted to that price. There's also a candle right here that has acted to some levels. So, you just want to identify, and then this is a weekly chart. The higher the chart, the better the level, because there's more data in a weekly chart. And so the better the chart, the better that's why I like weekly levels, right? So if we break down, then I would be looking maybe down into this area. And, you just keep doing this throughout. You just find different levels and you just keep marking them, right? You keep finding different levels that you're looking at, and you just keep marking them, and you look for price to go from level to level. And the way that I trade is I will trade price from level to level. So right now I was in a long trade here as of yesterday. And today we're continuing that upward move. So it's worked out pretty well on this last trade that I did. Okay. So as of right now, let's take a look. So I'm still bullish here. I'm looking for it to come up. If it breaks up, one way that I like to look at my targets is I like to draw Fibonacci areas to try to kind of figure out where we're going to go. And so if we draw a fib retracement here or a fib extension, you can see where the levels can go. Okay, so we draw that, and then you can see right here, this is one of the fib levels, right? So if we break out of here at 412, you can see that we could possibly get up to 489. And you can test some of these fib levels as well. So let's delete this one. This is the most recent one. Let's just delete it. I'm going to delete that level, and we'll take a look at what happened on the last one, right? We're going to go see when we had this retrace right here, and look where this was in 2020. You see that pretty big, healthy retrace. You can see that when it came back, it went to this fib level right here. If we look at our settings, we can see what level that actually is. Let's get rid of, I think it's the 161 level, right? So you can see that if I draw that out, you can see that it hit the 161, and it actually went much further than that as well. So we can draw in a couple more levels just to see where we're going. Where could we go? It's 261. See that? 261. Okay, so there we have it. It went to the 261, and it even went further. So those are some ideas of where we could go. So if it can break this 412, I'm thinking we could get up to 480s, right? And so that gives us a lot of opportunity to buy on pullbacks. You just keep buying on pullbacks anytime that we maintain above these levels. And of course, as soon as those levels get canceled, we cancel it out. I don't try to predict too much as to what's going to happen. I just look at what I see and I trade that. So if you guys have anything else or any questions, you can go ahead and throw them in the chat. Okay, see what else we got here. Okay, so I got somebody wanting to look at the USD CAD. So let me pull up my other platform here that has my currencies on it, and we'll see if we can find that USD CAD. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so here we go. I got my USD CAD chart here, and we're gonna zoom up and let's take a look at a weekly time frame. So right now, you can see that we're in a range. We're in a very clear range here because it's been going sideways. And what's really interesting right now, so you have to, I said I like going with the trend. The trend is up, right? USD CAD is up, but we have a really solid range right here on a weekly, and then we have a nice pin bar push, and we're at a resistance point. Okay, so at this point with this range, this is actually looking pretty interesting to me right here. I actually like this quite a bit. I'm thinking that if we break above this area, what does that mean, right? So I'm like, okay, we got a nice level here, right here, and draw the line. Okay, we got a nice level right there, and there's a lot of room to the upside here. This is 520 pips to the upside on a weekly. Now, if it breaks out of here, if it breaks out of this zone, well, then we have a whole new trading scenario happening. Okay, we could see a breakdown. If this trade doesn't work and it breaks down, well, then we're going to be looking at a strong reversal of a trend, possibly down to some of these other levels below. But right now, we've been in this range since June. Let's see. No, not June. September. We've been in this range since September, August of 22. And now we are in 24. So it's been responding to this pretty well. So let's take a look now at a daily time frame. And it looks like it wants to go here. It really does. Zoom up. This is a daily. It's tested, got a hard rejection yesterday, and now today it took out this high, right? Today it took this key high yesterday. So if we actually look at what's happened here with the price action, you're going to say a new high here on this on the 5th, a new high here on the 8th, and a new high here on the 9th. And so every single time it keeps making a new high. It doesn't really bust through it. It's not busting through this thing, but it is making a new high. So to me, that is the market telling me that we want to make a move up. Okay, so I am very much interested in taking a buy here. If we get above this level one more time, and that's really a straight even level, 134. If we get above it one more time, I'm going to be going long. I would take a buy on this. And yes, as I said earlier, I like to go in the direction of the trend, but you got to do what the market gives you. And right now, the market is clearly in a sideways move. I mean, you could technically call this an uptrend because you can see we've got a pretty solid trend line right here, and it's also bouncing off that. So we got this resistance. You can see it broke right here. And then now we have this wedge forming right up here. So you don't know what's going to happen. We could come back up, form this wedge, and we could do something like that and break out the bottom, right? That could happen, or we could come back out, break through here, and then break out the top, right? Any of those things could possibly happen here. Not sure what's going to happen in trading. You never know. You just trade what you see. And so right now, if I get a break above 134, I'm going to buy. That's what I'm looking at. And I'll be targeting somewhere up here, 138 area. If this fails, then I would be looking to see if it could come back and then break lower. Now you're going to notice that sometimes, that's why I like weekly charts too. It's because you got plenty of time. Sometimes these things take time to develop. Let's just take a look. Everybody's in a big hurry, but you see right here, we had it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks before it finally made its move. So this actually took just over 2 months for the market to make up its mind about where it was going to go. And so with that being said, you got to be patient. And, we could still come back down. We could do another one of these for another 4 weeks, and you just never know, right? And so that's why sometimes short-term trading is beneficial, is because, the market can go up and down, and it can take a long time before it actually gets the movement that it wants to get. Okay. All right. So, all right, let's see. What else do we got here? All right, we got AMD. AMD on the list. Let's do AMD. All right. Okay. This is a weekly chart. AMD is looking good. And by the way, NVIDIA is one that I just got into a couple days ago. So I got into NVIDIA, and you see what happened there. AMD is another one looking pretty good. Okay, so first thing what we want to do is identify the trend. AMD is moving up right now, right? It's moving up. It does have a point of resistance up here at 163, appears to be. There's also a point of resistance right here, but we came down. I already had this level. So apparently I had looked at this before. This level was already here. It came back down and it retested this level. Okay, retested this level right there and went to the T and came back up. And so these trades like this are really nice when you get it to touch the level. And so I love identifying these levels and try to trade from level to level. I did not get into this trade, but I would have been watching right here at the level, very similar to what I just showed you guys at the QQQ. But right now we're in between the zone. So I'm looking for this to get up to 163. If it breaks 150, this for me is a buy, and I would be looking for it to target at least 163. So that would be $13 move, pretty solid move. If this level fails, then we can go sideways here. And then I would, again, the way I would be trading it is if this 150 fails, I would be watching it to either break below the 132 level. And then if it does, I would take it short, or watch for it to zone here or range and then break out the top. One thing that I really like to do when I'm looking for a trade is I like to see what I call a windup, which is where the market will be choppy for a while before making a move. Let's take a look at a couple of areas that I call a windup. You see right here. Right here, it's going up and down, up and down, up and down. And then when it finally breaks, it's a big, huge move, right? Here's another one. And they're not always huge, but I do like to see them. Here's one, and then it broke down, and then it wound up, but when it finally broke, it was a pretty nice move to the upside. And the reason that happens is because the market will go, there's buyers and sellers and a consolidation of orders, and traders are just getting in position, right? And that's when the market kind of lulls people to sleep, and they're not paying attention. So So that's pretty much what I'm looking at on AMD. I think right now it's pretty strong. And so the market today has been pretty good as well. Okay. All right. So we got another one here. Let's see. We got ZN. What's ZN? ZN. I don't know if I have that one. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. So this is this is it here. 10-year treasury. So you can see when I look at this one right here, I can see, first of all, I'm looking at a very strong downtrend. Okay. Now, when I identify a downtrend, the next thing that I want to find is the levels, right? So I like this. It's a downtrend, but we did recently break above. We broke above this. So it's still a downtrend in my mind until we see a couple key levels break. Once it starts breaking, you know, this could start to bottom. You know, if we have this right here. You see that? Right now, we've got this in a weekly range, okay? It's in a downtrend, but if it breaks out the top, that means it's building a pretty strong base. And so right now, the way I'm looking is I've got this key level at a 110. If it breaks down to 110, then I would expect it to maybe come back to 105 again, maybe even go lower, okay? And just continue the trend to the downside. However, if we continue to range out like we see here, then I would be looking at this possibly coming up. Where would I be looking? I would be looking around this 118 area. Okay, about 118. So right now, though, my bias for this would probably be a down trade, but wouldn't be ready. I wouldn't be ready yet. I would not be ready just because you know, it's still above this moving average. And this is a very nice bearish candle, but it's got a key resistance point, a key support level that's holding. So right here is what I'm looking for it to break, this key level around the 110 area. And that's exactly what I'm looking at right there. If it breaks below that, I would go short. And remember, this for me is analysis, and this is what I would do. This is not like, you know, trade signals or anything like that. Educational purposes only. You know, in trading, there's always risk and all of that crazy stuff involved in trading. But I would definitely say that for me, if it broke below this, I would probably be going short, and I would be looking for it to target down here. If it breaks above, I'd be looking for a long and possibly back up here to 118. So that's what I would be doing with this, and I'll just draw this as a level right here, right in there, right? And so right now we're building that base, and if this really, there's no clear directional move right now. But once that happens, then if this comes out at 113, I think we got a pretty nice possibility or probability for it to get up to the next level. Okay, good. All right, well, keep them coming, guys. Keep the questions and the symbols coming. I got another one here for everybody, and that's ABT. Actually, before I switch over, I wanted to look at this on the daily. I forgot to do that on AMD. I do like to look at the daily as well. Okay, so right now on the daily, we're going to see, you know, the weekly. I like the weekly charts a lot, and I will a lot of times trade those. But you know, right now we're really in a tight range on this daily. Okay, we're really tight. So man, it is storming here. My goodness, my curtain literally just came off the window. and I can feel the air coming in. Nothing's broken, but man, it's just pounding. I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's crazy. Gonna go board that thing up. Okay, so yeah, this is the daily. You can see it's in a very good tight range here. And so it's winding up. It's getting ready to make a move. We don't know which way it's going to go, but if it breaks back down here, definitely think we could go short. If we break back above this moving average, possibly 113. And then, like I had said earlier, all the way up here to the 117, 118 level. Okay. All right. Let's go to ABT, Abbott Labs, and let's go to a weekly. Now, this is a great chart, right? This is the kind of chart that you really can make some money off of if you know what you're doing, because this just keeps going up and there's a lot of pullback opportunities in the middle. Now, the one thing you got to remember is always be watching your levels, like I said. So a previous high. So right now I'm thinking, okay, we still got some room, maybe another $3, and then we'll see what happens, right? Because this is the previous high that it made before. Let's zoom out and see a little bit more long term here. So right now, long term, you can see we've got a pretty solid range right in this area. So right around here is where the resistance could be coming in. So I'd be very cautious about going long on this one at this point. Definitely very similar to that USD CAD chart, right? Because this is a big, huge range. It's been in this range for 2 years, and now it's retesting. And so you can see what happened. I always like to look at what used to happen in the past to see what's going to happen in the future. And you can see that it pinned out here. It looked like it got faked. Looked like people were starting to go long. They're like, the breakout is finally here. And that's what happens is the market gets people on the wrong side, and it had a nice reversal candle. Okay, so in this case, we should be looking for something similar for market to come back up and give us a very nice reversal candle. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I never know what's going to happen. I just trade what I see. So if we get a pop up and then a reversal candle like this, I'd be looking for this to go short because of this very strong level. If this breaks to the upside, and this is a weekly chart, but if this breaks to the upside here and then comes back down, maybe another move, and you can see that it could possibly come all the way back up. Because the last time it actually did that was over here in September of 21. We had a really nice move from 112 all the way to 137. This is a big move that happened right there. You can see that. And so could that happen again? Yes. Right. And so when I look for breakouts, I always like to try to find the price moving up, come back and retest and look for that possible trade. So that's one scenario that we could see on that. The other one is, as I mentioned, for price to come up, peel back down, and then come back down and stay in this range. Okay. And either way is a good possibility, but I would be very careful personally about buying it right here. Right. And I would also be careful about shorting it right here as well, because it hasn't actually changed direction yet. And so if we get a pin bar, so let's go look at the daily now and see what it looks like. Okay, so we got the pin bar. So now if we get a pin bar and then a break below this moving average, that would be a key area I'd look for. Let's take a look. We got a nice little box here. You see that box where it ranged? You can see, even though on the weekly it looks like it's straight up, there's a lot of little boxes. Look at that one. Let me change the color. I don't like that. There we go. You see that this little delete. This one here had a range right there. Okay. And then there was another range. right here. So it will do that. It'll go in range a little bit. There's another range right here. Okay, so then if that's the way it went on the way up, if it starts going down, expect it to do the same thing. Right? Expect it to do the exact same thing. There's another range right here. So, if we break below, I'd look for it to come back up, come into this range out, come down, range out, come down, range out, come down, range out. You can see these ranges they don't last too long, but even this one, they don't last long. But look, this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Took 7 days, on the 8th day, it broke out. And then when it broke out, it didn't move a whole lot. It moved 1, 2, 3, 4 days, and then it ranged for another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days before it moved. And then it moved, and it moved 2 days, and it went 1, 2, 3. So it takes patience and timing. It takes patience and timing, right? And that's one of the reasons. Again, that's one of the reasons why I like weekly charts, is because it removes a lot of that noise. But at least on the way down, if you try to catch it, okay, you know what? We just went here. We're headed lower. I can see it's probably going to stall right here, right? That's just some of the stuff we're doing. Okay, so we're getting some more requests here. So hopefully that was helpful. Let's keep moving along. What else do we got? Okay, the next one was, and keep throwing them out there, guys. We got about 10 more minutes. We got CTSH. I'm going to put that in there. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start by looking at the weekly time frame and start just kind of looking at first I like to identify the trend. And so right now the trend is up, right? That's the first thing that I like to look at, is which way is it going, just to keep me on my toes. The next thing is we want to find resistance points. There's one right here. Okay. And so where are we at? We're currently in between a zone. So I would be like, okay, I'd be looking down here maybe to buy. If it breaks at the top, buy. If it comes down, we'd be looking at selling it. So where else, if we break up above here, where else, what other levels look pretty important? Well, we got right here where the price had stalled out around 82. And then we all have the high up here at the top around 90. So these are all different levels that we could expect to see. And then on the downside, we've got this one here, but if it breaks down, we got area right here. And again, if it breaks down even further, we've got right here, just different areas that we think that the market could go to, right? So let's go ahead now and take a look at a daily chart. See, daily gives you a little bit more room, but you can see how it was stalling. Really rejected this pretty easily, and now we're on our way down. We're below the moving average. And so if it comes back down and stalls here, the other thing is always got plenty of time. You don't have to hurry. You don't have to be worried about anything. You got time. There's no reason to ever be in a panic or FOMO. You don't have to worry about FOMO, be worried about missing out, anything like that. There's always opportunities to get into trades. And, if you don't make it, there's always another day and another trade, right? The market is open. There will be opportunities. You want to be very patient and do your analysis and find your trade. So right now with this one, I'm looking for to bottom out here and then come back and break above the moving average. When it breaks above the moving average, put your stop right in here. What's great about this is if it comes down here, we might come down. This moving average will follow, right? The chart goes like this. And then when it finally breaks, you're like, oh, okay, great. I'm going to enter long at 73.19. And I'll put my stop loss somewhere around here. So I got a very nice zone, like a $2 zone, and my target is up here. You got a nice $4 opportunity, right? And that's what I like to look for. I like to look for trades off of the zone right here so that I can get from level to level, right? From level to level. And it's also very important that you follow your trading plan. And man, when I look at that art, that's beautiful. I should have been an artist. It's important that you follow your plan and you manage your discipline and manage your risk, right? Trading is all about risk management. If you follow these setups over and over and over again, you manage your risk, you keep your risk nice and tight. Over time, you're going to be just fine. You're going to have some losing streaks. You're going to lose some trades. That's okay, but you got to keep a clear head, manage your risk, and understand that when the market reverses, you might see some losses, right? And you just got to deal with that. Okay. All right. I got some more going in, so that hopefully that helped. Let's keep moving here. Next, we're going to go to Google. All right, Google. Google's a great stock, by the way. If we just go to a weekly, let's look at this. This thing it can be a little bit difficult because there's some deep pullbacks, but look at this overall. It just moves up, big pullback here, moves up, big pullback here, and now we're on our way. So very first thing we want to know is which direction is the trend. Trend is up. Where's the next level that we got to worry about? Well, I think 152, and that is the worst line ever in the world. What am I doing? Let's go ahead and do the triangle instead. Okay, so we got 152.10, right? I think this is a weekly chart, right? So what else? Well, I think that this is the next level, right? That it hit 2 weeks ago. If we break this, if we break 142, I think we're headed to 152. So I think right off the bat, we got a $10 move. We got a $10 move. And since we're in new territory we've never seen before, we just want to draw the fib level, right? We want to go from 152.10, draw that down and say, okay, where could we go, right? Where could we go? Well, we could go to 194. And if we're going to go to 194, might as well make that an even 200, right? So we can go, we look at our settings here. Which levels did I have in place? I got the 161 and the 161, 261, 361, right? Those are the key opportunities, places it could go. It could really move, right? Well, just to check that, let's delete this and see what happened the last time. Always good to see, if I'm going to make these big, huge targets and be like, yeah, man, we can make lots of money. But let's see what happened last time, right? Let's see what happened last time. Okay. Well, last time it did this. We got the retracement. Okay. It hit the 161, the 261, and the 361. So it went all the way up to the 361. Okay. That's what happened. So it could do it again, right? Could it do it again? If it did it once, it can do it again. If it did it once, does that guarantee that it's going to do it again? No, there's no guarantees. But it absolutely could do it again. So I would be looking, if we break out here, it could possibly go up. Check out this all-time high. If we break out of the one, or break this 152, again, you could take a look at those fib levels. It could possibly get to the 161 extension, 194. Very good opportunity for that. If it doesn't, if you get a failure either here or here, watch for reversal signals. And, once it breaks down and breaks below this level, I would expect, when you're trading, you don't want to make predictions. At least I don't. I don't want to predict, right? I want to just see what the market's doing and then follow it, right? So I'm not going to make any speculation as to what is going to happen. I'm just going to say, okay, if we break out of this level that we see right here, I am going to be trading it to the next level, right? And that's all I do, right? I'm not going to be like, okay, I think that this is going to happen because of A, B, C, and D. I don't really know. I just know what the chart is showing me. And if I see it, I'm going to trade it, right? And so the same thing is if this level rejects and we break below the 10 moving average, we'll put like put a trend line on here, breaks below this trend line, then I'm going to be saying, okay, then I'm going to try to go short from one level to the next. I'm going to go from one level here to this level, to this level, to this level. I'm just going to be trading it from level to level. And the best thing you can do here is try to get into the trade as close as you possibly can to the level so that you can get a very nice risk to reward ratio. If we go back, this is a weekly chart, and I do love weekly charts because it eliminates the noise. But, if we go back here and you look, if you trade near this level, you got a nice stop loss. You get right here, and right now there's really no trade in my mind because you're too close, right? You're too close to this. But, when you're watching this, you can see it's going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. And what's really interesting is it takes patience, but that level was tested several times. It was tested here. Nice bounce, by the way, right? So a lot of day traders were probably taking this. They got in at 137 right off the level, got $3 on it. Awesome, right? Very good trade. But then it didn't hold. It didn't hold. So it went back down, came down here, tested on this day, and then finally we broke that and we could take a trade, right? So we'd wait for that thing to break. You get a nice stop. You put your stop right back there and you got like a $2 stop. Where's your target? Well, your target's all the way up here to 143. You got a $2 stop loss and like an $8 or $9 target. It's really the way that helps you grow your account, is just being consistent. Don't worry about if you win or lose, but just put yourself into opportunity to make the trade. You make the trade, you make it happen, you let it play out, and over time, you're going to do just fine because you're managing your risk. You're not letting fear of missing out. There's always another day to take a trade. You just follow the charts. That's all you got to do. All right. Well, that's my last analysis, and I just want to thank everybody at Market Timing. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for everybody in the audience. Really appreciate it. Hope it was helpful. Apologize for my delay. There was a big storm here, and it kicked me out. And I'm going to go and check my window because I feel air coming through. David, thanks a lot, as always.